Good evening and welcome to the second edition of Summer Nights here 2025. You're here again this evening in my arena, joining me from my home. We're here to talk about starting young horses, something that I've done professionally for more than 25 years or so. Everything you see tonight is just, of course, a technique that has worked for me with lots of different disciplines, different breeds of horses from different countries all over the world. This is the process that has served me to be able to serve others, from problem horses to horses that have had bad experiences during the starting the young horse process. So you not only tonight see the process that tries to set the horse up for success in all areas that he will experience in his life, but also all these techniques have derived from horses that have had a bad experience. So these are the things that I now do to ensure that the horses have the right amount of knowledge to become that successful riding horse. So horses that have maybe had a puppet or a dummy on and got afraid the first time the rider went on, horses that have difficulties with mounting, horses that maybe develop difficulties the first time they go to competitions. We know the old story. He was great. He was so easy to start under saddle. And then one day, just out of nowhere, he got a little bit afraid. He became nervous, and now I can't sit on, or he's bucking or rearing or bolting or whatever it may be. Tonight we are going to go through the process of how to prevent that. But of course, what are some of the things you can do if you're having some problems at home with a young horse that's either just been backed or is a long time being backed and still suffering from some previous memory, experience and emotion to that event, that very important event in their life. So we're going to get into it. You guys know from the ads who is going to be starring here this evening. Not only me, but a student of mine and also a horse of mine that some of you will have seen in a previous live event where we showed the first process of putting the saddle on the first time, what are the things we have to teach them before we get to that. And so this evening we'll be going on from that point, going to the first rides, what is important, what have we installed to ensure that the first ride goes well, and everything in between. So let's get into it. You've seen this young mare before, but not this one. You've of course seen Roxy in one of our young horse live events where we went through the process of how to start a horse under saddle. What is it to put the saddle on the first time? And many of you requested for the next step, so in this session that's what we're going to do. You're going to see the process of how to give a young horse its first rides, and you're also going to see how that process is with me instructing somebody else to do it. Holly Roberts here is a working student from Australia who's currently working here with me and with Roxy. So we're going to be able to take you step by step through the process. Roxy is of course a modern bred dressage horse, really sensitive, really itchy. She needs sort of a process of really understanding each of the steps. So steps of how it was to take the saddle, of course, all the things in the environment causes a reaction in her. She's quite sensitive with the weight. She was sensitive with drawing to the block. Everything is kind of extra with her. So we have to be very precise about how we go about it, how we build the bridge between the last step and the next step. And of course, the most important bit is guiding Holly to know what to do with her body when she's sitting up the first time. Because when we have a horse that's super sensitive, a little bit reactive to the environment and also busy between what's going on around her and signals that are coming from Holly, we want to keep this all in one flow and all in a positive direction for the horse and the rider to have a good experience. So you're about to see what it looks like for me to work with one of my working students here at the stable, but also how we go through one of the most important processes on a sensitive horse that is electric, that is going to produce all of the things that cause insecurities in the rider and the horse all at once. So let's take a look at that now. So guys, here we are. Roxy Music is in the arena together with Holly Roberts all the way from Australia. So if you get lost with some of the lingo tonight, You will be able to receive that later on after this live stream. Roxy Music is a 3-4-year-old, around that age, young horse. Says one's Donohoe out of Craxie Jasmine. I probably got that wrong too, but my in-laws will kill me for that because it's a homebred. Most of the horses out of this mother line are incredibly sensitive. They are not the type of horses where you can just stick them on the lunge and try to make them tired for a bit and go quietly and put a saddle on and hopefully that everything will go okay. It's a modern horse with a high level of sensitivity. They are going to be making sure that you have taught to them before doing to them. If you start to try to just do things to them or with them, then of course their natural instinct of protection is going to kick in and you're going to start to immediately get difficulties. And if you overlook those things, you will run into undesired behaviors. So Holly's starting in the beginning with the familiarization of herself. So coming into the place, it's for me important that the horse can first feel how they are in this space. And this is of course for us every day to realize how she is. Does she have a lot of energy? Is her focus everywhere? Is she worrying about where the other horses are? Is she worried about the weather? Is she fresh because she didn't have much work the days before? Whatever it might be, but it's also installing a tool that can be used later. This is when you go to another place and you want your horse also to be connected with themselves. Realize that when they have a connection with themselves, they can self-regulate no matter what the environment. And if you start to teach them that from this point, it becomes a skill they work on all the time. And as they get bigger and more mature and more educated and have more knowledge about what to do in different situations, this is one tool that they can take with them everywhere. So Holly, you don't think you need to go through any tension release now because you see already by Holly just taking the time, then Roxy of course is getting grounded, and if Holly also just takes her energy down a little more, you can see that she will also start to take the energy down, the head will go down, she'll hide behind Holly and close her eyes and have a little nap. So these are things we bring from our tension release, from the awareness of the body, but if we come with a young horse into the arena, this is how I want to start. Before we can start to give a lesson and start to have some instruction, we want a horse that is present, that's here, that's not busy and full of energy. So if you're having problems with just the startup, this could be the problem. So this is what we focus on in the beginning. And then you can just start, Holly, with your normal groundwork pattern, feeling how she is, front legs or hind legs or whatever you normally do in that process. So you guys will see just a little bit the patterns. And that's also to test a little bit how they are on that day. Is the horse really forward? Are they maybe a little bit back? It's to start to have a conversation in which you apply the aids and the horse is able to start to come into that conversation with you, with the right dialogue, with the right vocabulary. It's also a way of feeling how they are in the body. Are they stiff today? Did we work them a bit yesterday and maybe they're a little bit more tired, or they've done something silly in the paddock and then we have not such a good function in the body. These are important. And of course, young horses will develop through this process. The age for me is not really important. All horses will have a different level of maturity, physically and mentally. That's my only gauge. It's not that now it's 3 and it has to be broken in because that's when we break horses in, or when we start them under saddle, or where we back them, or saddle muck, or whatever you want to call it. But how is the horse's level of maturity, physically and mentally, and be aware that those things change in a young horse. So going through these patterns lets you feel how is the balance. Are they starting to grow a little bit in a way that puts them in a different balance than what they're used to? So Holly just going through the diagonal pairs, so you see the connection between the diagonal pairs, and that she starts to create a frame for carrying, and she has suppleness and a good order of movement in the body that's going to serve her. And you see that Roxy has a lot of energy because she's saying, why are we going through this beginning pattern? Because I know this pattern and I want to get going and do something else. But also important, it's not that we have to continue to do every exercise that we ever teach our horse, because you get 4 or 5 weeks down the track and it takes you 3 hours to work your horse because you add a new exercise every time. But this is a good one to test how the horse is. It's also a good positive order of movement that the horse is able to create connection in his body that we're also able to use when we go outside the first time, when we ride in the forest the first time, when we go to the first competition, when we first ride in an arena that's busy with a lot of other horses. It's a way of allowing the body to get connected with itself. And so clock shape now, we start to go a little bit with the connection of the whip. It's very important for Roxy that Holly makes a connection with the whip on the belly to feel and test how the belly is, where we put the leg aid, because you see here she starts to move before the aid. And then of course we will get a horse when we start under saddle that we have to hover ride for the first month. We don't teach them what the leg aid is, and then they start to get sensitive and they're running away from the leg. So just rub the whip a little bit more on the left side. Yes, so you get the contact. Just rub on the belly and wait. Good. And now we touch the belly, and now engage the rein, and then give the voice. Good. So she follows the leg aid, and not that she's starting to anticipate and make a contraction and move away from the leg. One time the other side. First rubbing the belly, because you see already the anticipation. So we don't want them running away from the leg aid, but really following the leg aid. So I change the order. Contact, engage the rein, then the voice, and that she's following the whip. And in the beginning, Roxy was a bit sensitive, so sometimes she was giving a little kick out with her leg against the leg aid, which is the whip. You can allow her just to go on the circle a little bit. And so we want to make sure that any kind of moment where the horse is maybe a little bit confused, they're not giving the right answers. We ask what's 1 + 1, and they say 3.5 or 7 or 499. We have to make sure that the horse is understanding what that leg aid is. And then here, of course, it's important the balance on the circle, so we'll make transitions from the clock shape to going on the circle. And then the whip here is for Holly to give an indication in the body where the focus should go. So when Roxy starts to go a little bit in trot, you'll see Holly will have the whip a little bit more now at the point of the shoulder. So she creates a little bit more shape of the circle, letting energy through the outside front leg. Yes, and that she starts to be able to open the right front, make connection from left hind, and then allow the neck to go forward and down. And our left hand is leading forwards. Yeah, so she finds direction in the body. She starts to make a good shape. Yes, and then turning the hind legs to stop. So this is a shape where she makes connection diagonal pairs. And she makes a transition down through the body in a way that's supple with good connection communication, and not that we are stopping her, holding her. So for some people this may look a little bit like lunging. The only thing that is the same is that the horse is on a circle and at the end of a rope, but everything else is different. So a normal way in which we think about lunging to ask a horse to go on the circle is we move. And you notice there that Holly actually asks Roxy to step behind and across to put herself out onto the circle. So this coordination and conversation in her body to be able to navigate, how do I get on the circle? How do I become more flexible? And to be able to make my own navigation into where I'm going. And so for me, it's also important that the horse can go along. It doesn't have to be going fancy and forward, but in the beginning, just being able to find a balance, a way of moving that doesn't cost any energy, and that we start to think about our energy, so the energy is going up in the body. We think about the order in which we ask, so we're thinking about the sensation, the thought, the body language, the opening of the right rein, then the voice, and then the whip in the direction of our leg aid, and not behind the horse, chasing them forward, but everything we do on the ground is directly related to the riding. Good, and then the turning of the hind leg again. Yes, this step, good. And then asking to go to the new direction, so you notice Holly doesn't move here. She doesn't go to her right, but if she would move, she would go to her left. And now Roxy moves a little bit too forward, so not moving the shoulder, so just change the whip and the rein over without her knowing, and ask her to step behind and across, behind, across, behind, across, and now inside leg, and then forward, good, and then transition to trot again. So we're teaching them from the beginning the mobility of the body, how to change rein in a balanced way, how to make a transition up and down in balance. Roxy's looking a little kind of, half of her body is asleep, the other half's kind of awake. She needs to get the body a little bit in coordination for the balance to come a little bit more in. And for me, the groundwork here is about that, her getting connected in her body, giving her time to find the direction. Yes. And be able to make these transitions and find how she can travel on a circle by herself. And here again, a little bit focus behind the left elbow, so the point of the right shoulder's going a little bit out. Good, and then feel that more in your own body, Holly, that you start to feel that you can ask for more shape. She's putting energy more towards the right front leg. Good, and now let her bigger on the circle. Yes, and as soon as you get the nose tilting a little bit inside, lift up the whip a little bit towards the wither. So, yeah, so we get right front leg a little bit out. Yes, and we start to get more shape of the circle to the inside. Yes, and we get inside hind leg stepping a little bit underneath the body. Good, and then we start to have the feeling that she can stretch forward and down. You can also start to walk a little bit bigger on the circle yourself. Yes, stay in trot. It's okay, it's okay. Good, and then more shape again. Feel the shape through the body, lifting up the rein a little. Yes, and now relax again. Good, and then turn the hind leg again. Good. Yeah, one more time the other side. And so that in the end we find that the horses are able to travel on the circle on their own. They're not dragging you from one end of the arena to the other. They're not falling to the inside. They're not needing to be held. They're not needing to be in a round pen where they follow the line of the wall, but we're able to freely move, and the horse is able to follow the body. Just walk a little bit to the right, Holly, up the long side a little. Yeah, like this, good. Good, exactly like this. And then energy up again, and then in trot again. So we already start a little bit with this conversation in our own body, what we talked about before, sensation, thought, body language, and the voice, and then now the energy down through your feet. Yes, like this. Good, and then energy up again, without the voice, sensation, thought, body language, lead to the right. Yes, and then the voice, and then the whip if we need it. So we're already building the order in the way we ask for something when we're going to ride, so that the first ride doesn't mean that we have to make the horse go forward, and it doesn't mean that we have to hold on to the rein to stop the horse running away. We're already having this conversation here, and the horse has an understanding, knows what we mean, and then because it's clear, there's no uncertainty, and then the horse can be relaxed. Good, just turn the hind leg again. Good. So in the beginning, it's not important that normally she would focus a little bit more on you, and she would have this nice shape, and she would be totally focused, but now she's in her home arena, and then there's a person there, and there's a camera up there, and there's a camera there, and there's a camera there, and there's a computer, and there's wires, and there's people moving, and there's a complete different energy than normal. So, yes, good girl. So it's important that you also feel that when the situation changes, then the body shape will change. It won't be smooth and as beautiful as you wanted to show, but it doesn't matter. It's also okay. And that we allow her then in this new environment, in this space, to experience this, and we focus still on the elements that are necessary for her in this moment, on this day. And that will never change. Doesn't matter if it's the process of starting them under saddle, or you go to the competition the first time, or you ride in the forest the first time. It's not the expectation of what we want to show, but what information, how can we mentor them and help them in that particular moment on that day to feel and do their best. It's good. We just do a little bit with the tools so that this part is, of course, important, that we can make sure that the horse is okay with certain elements. This is possibly the bit that's skipped the most. So when I have a horse coming to have help because they have a difficulty with starting it under saddle, or they had mounting difficulties, or the horse started to get afraid of the rider, or it got desensitized to a whole lot of things, meaning somebody waved a whole lot of plastic around the horse and got it sort of to shut down and not focus on anything and not know how to give a response to anything. Good, and draw backwards first. Yes, draw backwards. Good, and then lead the right front leg towards the bag. Good. Yes, and then draw backwards again, move to the right and keep the bag in front, like this. And when you get a contraction, like here, left front leg's going away, then lead the left front leg to the left. You can also take the bag away in that moment, so she focuses only on the feeling and the sensation in the body. Yeah, good. This step, yes. One more step with left front to the left. Yes. And then try to make that a forward step. Good, that step, good. And now you start to rub. Good. Yes. And now let her take the step forward. Yep. And relax, good. And then you rub again. So it's not about her getting used to the bag. It's about feeling on that day, okay, how is the body? Yes, that step. And now touch again the right shoulder. Yes. Yeah. Coordinate your hands and your tool. Good. Rub on the neck. Good. Rub on the shoulder. Good. On the belly. Yes. And still. Good. Yes. Change sides. And then bag to the belly. So just like you did with the whip. Good. Yeah, and then the same again. Keep the contact with the bag until you feel she changes state. There, good. Over the rump. Yes. Good, so letting it go into the shape, finding diagonal pairs. Good. Yeah, and then under the belly again. Good, and keep it there. Longer rein. Keep the bag under the belly. Yeah, so now you have an awareness on the body. Keep the bag on the belly. Here, wait. This bit. Good. Yes. And then changing the tool. So giving an awareness of the tool, not getting her used to the bag so it doesn't become a tool anymore, but having her experience the element in the environment, and that she learns to have an awareness of herself, connect to herself, And she realizes that the physical action she takes is going to determine how she feels. So if she has a contraction in the body, she's going to be nervous. If we can teach her what the opposite of that is. So first contact. Yes. Good. Contact over the rump. So feel where is the sensitive part of the body. Yeah, making contact first. Good. Relax on the left hand. Yes. Wait. Keep the flag there. Long rein. Good. Yes. And then slowly away. Change sides. So the important part is if the horse is not knowing how to manage themselves with movement, touch, sound and approach, these are the elements that will be involved when we go to get on, when we move, when they see us above the saddle, right eye, left eye. And a lot of the times the horses that have a problem, they start running away, they're difficult to get on, they get afraid of the rider. It's these bits they didn't have. Then the movement without touching her. Good, and then over the back so she can see it right eye, left eye. Good, and then relax again. Good, and we change the tool. And again, it's not that we need to do this for half an hour and she gets used to the flag. It's presenting and showing us how she is on that day. So now you can see that Roxy, the sensitivity of her, so she's already more sensitive than the normal days because her environment has changed. And so when we bring an element of approach in the beginning, she's already seeing the things, different things, strange things in her environment and probably thinking, oh, I hope that thing doesn't approach me. That's not normally in my arena. And so the level of sensitivity when we approach with the bag and we start to say, okay, how are you going to be with approach? She shows that she's already sensitive in the body because of the change of environment. But because then you present the bag and you ask her to check in, what are you doing? Are you managing your body when something approaches you? Because later, if we get on, I want to approach that camera and that sign. And so already now, something that she's normally really good at, she's become sensitive. So it's a way of checking for us, how is she on that day? And secondly, her checking in with herself. Am I managing myself in that moment when something approaches or something moves and now something's about to make a sound? Yeah, just start. Good, and relax. And now you have to have the good technique in feeling. Clap her with the left hand, and then here, this front leg. Oh. So getting your rein organized that you're not trying to get left front to step forward, but keeping the clappers here. Front leg is going, whoa, my body's now moving because I have energy. Not particularly because there's a sound, but oh, I have energy in my body and then I start to move. And how she moves is going to determine how she feels. So if she starts to move, you can say, this is the feeling you want. That's going to get you grounded. So a little bit the tool again. Start clapping. Good, and relax. And it's not because we get the relaxed head drop or anything like that. It's because she gets one ear and one eye to her body. So when you made the sound, she didn't go, oh, I have to look at the clapper. When you make the sound, she says, oh, I have to tune into myself. And this is the bit we want to continue to teach her, that if she has a surprise, that you're riding and the bird or the pigeon or something happens when you get on and ride, you want her to think first, oh, what does my body feel like? Check in with yourself. Okay, they're all alive, so they can have a surprise moment, but you want to teach them before you're in that position how they should respond. Horse on the left side, clappers on the right side. Good, and then come more onto this side. Yeah, start first. Good. And then go to this position. So already you come here and you're in this position. Oh, feel the body. What does the body feel like when I'm on this side? Check in. You can see visual system looking inside the body and also the ear. And then what happens when there's noise here? Diagonal pairs. Here. not so much the head drop. We don't want a change of position, but we want the tuning in. So the butt now is a little bit in contraction, and this is why we get the movement. So here we have the blink, change of state. Now we get tuning into the body. Start with a noise again. Here, what's happening? Are you losing control here? What's happening here? Good. Check in with yourself. Oh, this is the bit. Noise, bring an awareness to the body, manage yourself, good. Also feeling how the body is, that we're getting this looseness. The state is important. Not about changing position, not about controlling the body, but really how do we get the horse to have an awareness to be able to change state. You got it? You know what's going on there? Yeah. You can just put the bridle on, and then we'll start a little bit with some work on the ground. Just first put the bridle on over the halter, and then we go through a bit the ground pattern in the bridle, and then a bit the walking the track, and then a little bit on the circle. We'll talk about transitions, how to teach the canter, what it is to teach the horse to go into canter, not chase them forward until they canter. So if you put the bridle on, so you'll notice that I've, of course, done everything in the beginning in the halter, and we teach in the beginning in the halter because we are working with the horse's body. So we're separate to what might go on with a bit in the mouth. If you've had a horse that's had some problems, then of course you separate that. You first deal with the horse being able to have an awareness of his body. He learns the aids. What is the leg aid? What is the rein aid? How does he learn to follow the rein aid, follow the leg aid? What is the coordination, the conversation, the order of movement in the body that gives me balance, stability, posture, confidence? And then when we put the bridle on, that's also, of course, a process that if it's not good, Holly will have to go through, but it looks good. I wasn't watching. It's important then that I put the bridle on over the halter, and then I use the both, so that the horse can make a really good connection between what's happening in the halter and what it means on the rein. So you make a transition. It's not that we just put the bridle in and we send them around and hope they get used to it, but really teach them what is the meaning of the bit. How do we follow a connection? How do we find direction into the rein? So you can just slowly go through those patterns a bit now, Holly. So the rein aid is, of course, for the backwards and sideways. Left rein controls left front, backwards and sideways. Right front is controlling, right rein is controlling right front, backwards and sideways. And then picking up the rein. First, a contact on the belly, because you see what's happening now. Yes. And then you pick up the two reins, halter and bridle. Yes, and first a little bit more halter than bridle. Yeah, then bit, hand on the belly. Yes. And then asking her to follow the hand in this, yes, in this step. Good. And in the beginning, if she stops, you let her stop. Because now we have a horse that's more sensitive than the normal day. She's in anticipation all of the time. And then front legs the other way. So left front to the left. Yeah, just move the front leg. Yeah, good. Connect it to the bridle rein. Keep walking that way. Keep a connection that she doesn't leave the rein, so she doesn't start to go too quick. And you start to feel that she makes the step where she follows at the speed you're asking. Good. There's a fly on the belly on the right side. Yeah, underneath the belly. Yeah. And now again the same here. Contact with your left hand. Yeah, and keep really a lot of contact on the belly with your left hand. Yes. and then check in with the flank. Good, there's no contraction there, yes. Now check in also with the croup. So when you start to make a forward step, because we put the bridle on, you don't get any change there. Good. This feeling. Same again. Good, and then you can start to walk, so you turn, face the front, and ask her to go from your inside leg to your inside rein. Good, so this is our, again, also our first steps, that when we make a transition and we can ask the front legs to follow the rein backwards and sideways, and we can ask the hind leg to follow our leg, that then we start to take that somewhere, yeah, and change sides, so front leg's the other side, and then move the front leg instead of doing the little walk around yourself. So when you wanted to change sides, that you use the movement of the front leg to get to the other side. Yeah. Good, and then step to your left, backwards and across. Yeah, her backwards and across, front legs first. Yes. Good. Yes, that's the feeling. So you start to get the feeling that she follows each step. Good, picking up the rein, and then the hand in the position of the leg. Good. Yeah, and first still, because now you're getting movement. So imagine if you were riding and you get on and your leg just rests against her and she starts to go from it. So first she has to have the feeling that your leg comes there and that she's not sensitive. Yes. So opposite to one that's lazy, one that has a lower sense of energy, the energy's coming down in the body instead of in a contraction with the muscles up. First the rein, then contact on the belly, that you feel the belly, and then you ask to move and you feel almost that it's difficult to get it to go from your right hand. Yeah, and relax. And then the right hand on the belly. Yeah, and keep the rein. And then you have the feeling that this is the contact on the belly. Flank, rubbing. Yes, and you feel like you can almost push the ribs on that side. Here, stay with it. More contact with the hand, the better. Yes, stay there, stay in position. Good, like this. Yeah, and then you start to feel the belly breathe a bit. Yeah, contact, firm contact. Yes, that the belly doesn't make a contraction away from your leg. This is what's getting the busyness. Because there's no, follow. She's not staying with the leg, she's leaving the leg. And on the sensitive ones, if you don't explain it's about following, you have to hover ride, because when you touch, they start running off. Good, and then same on this side. She's taking care of the flies herself. Yeah, so contact, yes, good, that was good. So straight away, your left hand has to come in the position of your leg aid, and that you check in, good. Yeah, and then the flank, no lying down. We didn't teach you that trick yet. Good, yes. So now, even though the plan was to go forward, you're looking for the stop. Just rub her underneath the belly, scratch her all up. Now she's irritated a bit from the flies. Yeah. So you give her the massage she would have if she rolled. Yes, without rolling on the saddle. We get the sensitivity out of the skin, the itchiness. Good. And then, when you start to now go, we can do our magic knot. So we're taking the rein through the loop, out to the front, just like the halter knot, round the tree, down the hole. Wayne Banny will be proud that I still remember that phrase. down in Warrnambool, your neck of the woods. When we start to move, here, keeping contact here. Yes, waiting for the stop, and then, oh, it's difficult to move. Keep the contact, rubbing. A little bit of weight in the saddle. My hip is now on my inside leg position. Here, rubbing. We start to be able to make our stop. Yes. Oh, you've got this good, Holly. Controlling left, right, left, right. This feeling. And of course, when it's a little bit sticky, we can go to this position. Rubbing again, flies. Inside rein, inside leg. So inside leg to the inside rein. It's important that that is our step, because that's the only groundwork conversation we've had. And then as we go along, we can slowly allow the horse to feel a little bit of the outside rein. We want to also be able to check that we can turn, create our diagonal pairs, and get a stop. Still with my hand on the belly. Same on the other side. Starting here, intent, and then we ask to go. Keep my hand in the leg position, keeping myself a little bit at the shoulder. My hand is still here on the inside leg position. Oh, yes. Looking for the stop. Good. And that we can start to navigate our way where we want to ride. So being able to go in a straight line, being able to pick up and go through the corner. And that the horse is able to already see and understand where it is we want to go and how we want to do it. Rubbing. Feeling we have a little stop. Yes. Inside leg. And that we have this navigational tool to let the horse see where it is we want to ride. So it's not that the first time we start to go straight or go around the arena is when we're on the back and we have realized we haven't worked on the steering at all. And then we have to try to steer when we're up, when we're sitting in the saddle. Yes. And then, Holly, we can take the lunge and you can start to make a little bit the transitions on the circle, talking about how we go from walk, trot, and of course eventually canter. I will get a little bit of fly spray in the meantime, because I think we have a small fly problem. Can take the halter off. I will get some fly spray. And maybe a towel. Just cover the towel, then I can rub her down a bit. On her face especially. Girl. Yes. So also moments where you feel things are changing on those days. We have something in the environment that's more irritating than normal. That we pay attention to those things. Good. Thank you. Yes, particularly around your face, huh? It's not so nice to spray you in the face, so we do it like this, or on the hand sometimes. Just straight onto the bit. Yeah. So, again, we get to something that maybe looks like lunging, but all of the aids also directly have to connect to what we're doing in the riding. So there's never a whip behind saying that she should go. It's always the riding aids. Yes, good. Yeah, and turn the hind leg again. Yeah, and let her stop. Let's just make sure there's nothing under the saddle. There's nothing there itching. Because we have a real irritation here. Check a bit the other side. So also important, if there is something obviously that she's irritated about, that we also check in with her, and not that she starts to be twitchy and itchy and then we just say, come, go on, start working, and that she feels we're not in tune. We're ignoring the fact. Good. And then you start again. Yeah, just let her out on the circle. Yeah, controlling your front end. Good. So that all the communications are directly related to the riding, directly related to the groundwork. So we're able to ask the front legs to go bigger on the circle. We're able to ask the forward from the inside leg. We're able to make a downward transition by turning. Good, and just allow it to go forward again. Allow it bigger on the circle. Good. Good. And in these moments where there's no direction, don't be afraid that, okay, then I have to stop her because she's doing the wrong thing. She's starting to throw herself around. Yeah, and now a little forward. Good. That she starts to find a little bit of direction. So when you feel that all the arrows start to point left and right and back and the front, open the left rein, yeah, and guide her into the position where she's leaning forward and going forward. Yes. Good, and relax again. Good, and just pick up the tail of your lunge so you don't get it wrapped around your neck or your legs. It's what I advise most students not to do in the beginning. Good. And then you start to put focus on the shape. So, yeah, wither a little bit more out to the right. Good, and then left hand is guiding the nose a little bit forward and down. And if she needs to shake the skin, then you just allow it to find direction forwards in that moment. What we don't want is this arrow start to go everywhere and then we put a stop on that. We want it to find the out by finding the direction in the body. Good, and then you can start to ask for a Canter transition, so then it's sensation, body language, yeah, and then try without the whip. So you're not sending her, but you give shape, give direction left. Good, let it go bigger on the circle. Good, and then the double cluck for the transition. Good, and keep giving direction. She keeps a connection and she finds the right posture because of the groundwork pattern, because of learning what the shape of the carrying posture is. Doesn't matter. Good, and then let her go bigger on the circle again. So energy up towards the wither. Right front leg goes out. Yeah, so not pushing her forward, but letting her find direction. Yes. Good, that's better. Good, and one more time, letting her find direction, lifting up the whip towards the wither. Energy out through the right front. Yes. Good, and then left hand down, a little bit leading the position of the circle. Good. Yes, and then turn the hind leg, let her stop again. Good, and relax. Just go in and rub her again. So you let her feel her skin. Yeah, good. So if she's still got any little twitchy, niggly bits from the flies, yeah, hand under the belly again. Good, yes, and just relax. Good, and then just see how she is. So don't be too quick into now saying, oh, now we're going to go the other side. And that we get into working and a lot of doing and not checking in, but just standing and observing, seeing what's happening. Is she now more settled? Is she more comfortable in the skin? Does she still have a bit of a bee in the bonnet from the flies? And for the sensitive ones like her, you know, one little thing can turn into a big thing. She wins an Academy Award for. But she's sensitive, so it means something big to her. So sometimes just standing and observing and her feeling that you're feeling, and it's important that you are seeing her, allows her to be relaxed enough for her to see herself. And then we know from this moment where we need to go. That's also important, that we don't get into the routine, or we do this way and we do this way, and we're not tuned into what's going on, because that's also the connection you want when you ride. That the horse feels that you are aware of them, and then they, of course, have the good awareness of you. That makes the good conversation, connection, and things go in a positive way. Good, and now a little bit on the other side. And don't worry that it's not how it normally is. Because if we weren't doing a live stream, or there wasn't cameras here, or you weren't thinking of the expectation of wanting it to do it really good because people are watching, then you wouldn't pay much attention to the fact she was sensitive. So we have to also have a good reflection of ourselves, of what's happening. This is better. Good. And just treating it like another day. Every day's a training. And there's always going to be lots of elements in the environment that make changes. changes to the feeling, changes to the body, changes to the situation, the responses, how much he listens, the level of sensitivity. And it's just important that we are sensitive to that so we can adjust. We can continue to help her, and we're not following the path from Wednesday or Monday. We're trying to follow that path on a Friday. The path on Wednesday at 3, and now this is Tuesday in the evening, you know? Yeah. This is better. Good. And then making a little shape again. Focus, yes, this bit, this bit. Focus on the wither, sometimes the whip up towards the wither. Yes. Good. And then when she starts to be able to maintain a little bit more of the shape of the circle in her body, then you can start to ask her to go more forward. So shape and posture before speed. And actually, we're not ever asking for speed. We try to teach the horse to go into rhythm and into balance. Yes, this was good. So now you can do exactly that. Start to work on your transitions a bit, the feeling in your body. And sometimes, of course, when we first put the bridle on, this will change. You know, the horse has a bit in, and then all of a sudden they're not connected to their body. They're thinking more about what's happening in the mouth. And they have to be able to make that transition, build that bridge between the order of movement in the body. The connection in the body goes to the connection of the rein. They get more and more direction. Good. And then the transition canter the same. Open to the right, yes. And then, yeah. And so you're having the feeling that you get the kiss noise and the direction from the rein when she leans into the rein. A little bit to focus, just pointing to the wither a little bit with the whip. Yes. And again. Good. And then do nothing. Good. And now pick up the energy, open the rein, kiss noise for forward. Good. And then this. Yeah. That's okay. And it doesn't matter in the beginning if she takes 2, 3 steps and relaxes again. And especially if you have a sensitive one that goes really forward, you could even go into 2, 3 steps canter, turn the hind leg, let her walk. That you build already the pattern you want when you get in the saddle. So then you know that if you go, and this was also a good transition, shape of the circle, down into walk. So it's not about the kilometers, it's not about getting her tired, it's not about getting the energy out, it's not about working the horse or putting them in a frame, building the muscles by making a shape, by teaching them the balance. And the balance and the understanding, this is good. Little shape with the nose to the right, and then double cluck. Yes. And again. Good. And follow. And follow. Yeah, hand in front. So she gets the nose around the circle. Yes. Yes, good. And now relax. And turn the hind leg and let her stop. So also letting her know, yeah, this was good. This is the feeling we want. All the way to the stop. Very good. And relax again. Good. And then do nothing. The lazy horsemanship technique. Just let her tune in again to how she feels about it. She starts to regulate the breathing. So the work doesn't start to get the body in a cycle where she starts to not be able to control the breath, and we get a heightened level of sensitivity. Good. Reposition of the balance. Good. Yes. Yeah, very good. Nice. And this is also the pattern you want to build in while we're riding. That if you get going, you've already built the rest point by not doing anything. She just knows, this is rest. Holly's not doing anything. The energy is neutral. She's waiting, and I'm happy also to wait here. And the more she's able to find those rest bits, the more she learns about self-regulation when the energy starts to get high. So it's often the little things we do that make all the difference in knowing what to do in those difficult moments. Just change rein one more time the other side. It's good. Now she's much more comfortable in the skin, less irritated with the flies. Just make sure that your clip is on the right side of the chin strap. Yeah, old eagle eye can see it from here. Good. And then just letting her open the front. Good. And it's good that you choose to do it from the rein. Yes. So now you feel the kind of connection you want when you get on. That you feel the rein, the front leg moves, and she has a connection with the ground. It's not that you go to move and she gets up and the energy gets up and she's running away from herself and the aids and everything else. Good, a little slap on the saddle. Yeah, and shape and slap on the saddle. Yes, and relax, good. So you help her to find the shape of the circle when there's a distraction. So that then if you're riding and she gets a surprise, then you can guide her into the posture that gives her stability and confidence that she's feeling her body. In the moment you get on and ride the first time, if there's a distraction, there's some pressure, they lose connection with the physiology. So you want to make sure that you can do something in a way that you are helpful to her, and not that something happens and then you try to help her and your aids add more pressure to the situation. And then we get in the shit. Good. Then opening the rein a little more. Good. And opening the rein a little more, bigger on the circle, and try to get more of the energy to go through the outside front leg, because you see the energy's coming in on the left front. Yes, yes, and relax, good, better. Just those little differences, and then again pick up. And it's not important that you do it absolutely perfect and you can, be a wizard and now I can just make this move around and look wonderful and perfect, but that you just think about those little things. Okay, what's happening with the body? Now she's falling on the left front. What can I do to help her find direction out the outside shoulder, which will help her find a better shape in the circle, more balance, more room on the ribs. Yes, good. And then let her out, and then you make one time the canter transition this side. So you really get the understanding of where you're doing the transition, opening the left, kiss noise, into the corner, and then double cluck. Yeah, and then allow her to go forward. Doesn't matter if she finds the disuniting, let her find direction first and then let her come back. And often when they find direction, they will come back themselves. Yeah. Good. Good. Yes, and then let her trot again. And then again a little bit lifting up the rein. Try to get the shoulder a little bit more out. Go towards her. Out, out. Good. Out, go towards her. Go towards her. Yes. Yes, better. And now slow down your energy. Let her go bigger on the circle with this shape. So she's learning this shape. She gets direction into the rein, into canter. Shape, lifting up, really riding from the ground. Yeah, not more forward. Just shape, yes. Good, yes. More shape, bigger circle. Good, and relax. And open. Yes, better transition. Good, and let her trot again. Oh, and turn the hind leg, let her walk again. Energy really down through your feet. Hey, good, walk backwards a few steps yourself. Yeah, and turn the hind leg again. and walk backwards yourself. When you get the hind leg, yes, walk backwards. Yeah, and relax. Yeah, good. This feeling. And so in that work, you're working more and more on letting her find the shape, and sometimes going back to the clock shape, letting her out, clock shape, letting her out in walk. We'll get more of this diagonal pair connection, and she'll be able to take that more and more onto the bigger circle, and then you'll get this feeling of into the rein, into canter. You really teach her from the first groundwork patterns what it is to have balance with impulsion. That she can take herself really easily into canter. She's not leaning back. She's not having to run forward to get into canter, but she really learns the direction, the balance, and right when you say, she knows, dun, dun, and canter. Something you really teach her. Good, then you can go, you can get on the step. You can put the helmet on. You can take your horse with you. Good. So first just helmet on, and then go through your pilot check that you will do once you go to the step. So you might get her to follow the rein right and left. You know the drill. And so it's really important that when we are preparing the horses for the riding part, that we can be aware that all of these parts are really important. So it's not only this ability to be able to learn where your body is and how to make a connection with the first groundwork patterns. It's not just about the horse getting used to something over its back. The horse has to understand the element of movement, the element of touch, the element of sound, the element of approach, and a combination of these things, because these are the elements that we will bring when we go to get in the saddle, when we go to make that first transition, when we start to pass another horse, to ride past an obstacle, to go through a challenge. And the better our horses are equipped in these things, the more they understand the meaning of our aids, and the more closely we can transition from the ground to the riding is really important. So our walking on the ground, Holly now going through the horse, feeling that she's following the rein, so that when she gets on the step she can see her right eye, left eye. Normally we would then go through the walking again, riding position, inside leg, asking into trot, running a little bit next to them, as close to riding as possible, but we just swing the leg over. You just go through your normal routine. If you want to go to the step now. No, I think whatever you want. It's up to you, mate. You can just get on that colt and ride it if you want. And so this is the important part. Also this bridge, this transition between groundwork and the riding. We try to make it as close to the real thing as possible. And we're sure that a horse understands all those elements. And when we get in the saddle, we don't start doing something completely different. It's not that then we explained all these things in the riding and then we get on and we just start to ride. And it's a completely different language with a different dialogue, with a different vocabulary, and the horse is not able to make those connections. So the feeling we develop in the groundwork is the thing we need to take to the saddle. So sometimes we think, oh yeah, groundwork, I tried that, where I sent the horse on a circle in a rope halter and I waved a flag and a bag and I got on and the horse still bucked me off. It's of course not about what we're doing to the horse, but what we're teaching the horse through that process. So the mounting, of course, is an important part, that the horse is presenting you with the saddle, and not that we are holding the horse or two people are holding the horse and we're in a space where the horse has no room and is forced to be still, but really presenting. And then what is the process? So Holly now moving the saddle, and you can see there Roxy starting to get the balance. And now we have the following, because we have to build now a process in what we're going to do. So we're teaching to her before doing to her. We're not going to do anything now that is new and fresh. She's going to be able to follow the rein like she's just done. So her mind says, oh yeah, I've done that, so that's okay. Sometimes we give the tension release where the horse comes into the position to be mounted. They have an awareness of themselves. I'm just talking here, mate. You just keep going with your process. Holly keeps stopping, thinking, oh, do I do tension release? Should I follow what he's saying? Or and this part, the breaking down of the mounting. So can we go on the side? And then do we save that bit? So when we get something maybe a horse is finding a little bit difficult, Roxy in the mounting process is exactly the same as she is on the ground. She's quick to have contraction and start to move in anticipation. So the mounting part is really important, that we break down the parking in, resting, finding a position of rest, releasing tension in that position. That the mounting place is not the starting block to get going. This is the rest spot. Get stable, feel the saddle, feel your weight. If your horse feels the weight, they will also understand and feel your weight more when you go on. This is an important factor. Horses feeling their weight, being grounded, means they feel your weight, and you being grounded when you get on. Foot in the stirrup is an element. Standing on the side is an element. Now, can you also ask the horse to look and see you out the right eye and be totally relaxed about it? This is also important. Good. Yes, and then just swinging the leg over. Oh no, sorry, I skipped 10 steps. Go back again. Just wanted to test if you're a good student. Just did everything I said. So then the first movement on a horse that's forward is backwards and to the left. You can do that now. A student, backwards and to the left. So this requires a little bit of balance, which you can practice on your plastic horse. And then we get a stop here, and then we go down, and then we tension release. Yeah, make the turn. Good. Yes. And then walking away from this spot. Yeah. So the explanation of what we're going to do next is important. Now, we could even break that down more, where Holly would maybe go up on the side, and then she would go here, she would go down, she would walk here next to the horse would stop, she would find the rest, and then walk away with the horse. The horse knows and understands, okay, this is what I'm going to do next. I don't have to have anticipation of a thought of, I don't know what's happening next. So you already are explaining to the horse what's coming so that they can be completely relaxed in the moment where you ask for the next step. And then you can do the same again, Holly, just drawing to the step. And so as we're going through this process, before we swing a leg over, I always try to follow a familiar process. So drawing in, for that horse it might be a little bit the movement of the saddle, it might be the flexion, following the rein, seeing your right eye, left eye. Yeah, and then going on the side. So if you've done the flexion before you get on the side, you do the flexion once you're on the side. So just do your thing, don't listen to me. Good, and then the flexion. Yes. Good. And then flexion left. Good. Yes. And then the leg back, over and back. When you have the stillness. Good. Yes. Good. And same again. Good. And down again. Good. And then the rest moment. It's a long rein to the buckle. Good. Yes. Good. And then the same again. And so it's important, of course, for Roxy that she feels that the getting on is a process, and it's one where we look for rest. It's not a starting line that she thinks, okay, the rider gets on, I know now that we start to go. Because then we already start in the horse, this trigger of when we get on, it's time to go. And sometimes these can be the boring bits. People think, yeah, just get on it and show it who's boss, or when am I going to get to ride? But if you spend the time on these things, then they stay solid. That moment where it's a bit more windy or it's busier in the arena, it's not going to be the undoing of you. Good. Yes, and then fully on. And then not too bad for a beginner. And then you can go backwards and to the left. She's finding herself looking really fancy in the camera, so yeah, behind and across. Yes, yes. So this is, of course, and then you see already she starts to look for the stop. Yes. So when you first get on and you make your first steps, you've already introduced the stop. The horse looks for the stop. You just go into the reward. And then you can just let her walk. So already you've tested the front leg. Then you can test the hind leg. So a little bit your right leg on. Then yeah, good, and relax. So you feel she's following the leg aid. This you can also practice on the ground, lifting up. Yes. So there you're getting a little step backwards. So keep the leg against, not too much of the niggling with the leg, but a soft following, following. Yes, good. And so we're looking that the hind leg is stepping through, making connection with the diagonal pair. Just go on to the other long side. And then if she's looking at the camera, or she's looking at the screen, or she's looking at the banner, or the cables, or the computers, or our good-looking camera people, then you can open up your front leg to see how that is. Now you can turn the left hind again. Soft with your left leg, under. Yes, good. All steps were forward and soft. And you'll find when you do that connection, the horse will get more and more of a connection in diagonal pairs, and you'll see more and more rest. And then give long reins. So this is also important, and when we get on in the beginning, we know we're not holding the horse, but that the horse is in a complete state of rest and in balance, and not that we have to keep hold of them. Then you can come on the circle a little bit. Good. Letting her follow the left front. Good. And it's also important for Holly to make the move where she feels the leg in the turn to the outside because of Roxy's sensitivity to the leg. This overreactiveness, the getting sensitive, the moving away from the leg instead of following the leg is really important. And now we just want Holly to be able to start to feel where Roxy is at the end of the rein. So we're not asking her to put her anywhere or create a frame or create her to stretch the neck or to put the nose out or to put the nose in or wherever. Only that Holly is feeling that she can feel where the horse is at the end of the rein. And then when Holly's feeling it, that Roxy's also feeling where she is at the end of the rein, nothing more. And that then she finds direction, which enables her to find the balance. The softness, where she chooses to put herself, is then up to her in the beginning. So I don't mind if they're a little bit level, if they're a bit out with the nose, if they're a bit up with the head, as long as they're finding direction and they're confident about the direction, and that all the arrows point in the same direction in which we're going. If we're going on a circle left, we want the horse's nose to also be on the circle left. We want the body to start to follow, and that they're not getting lost over the midline, head right, head left. Good, and then a little stop, just lifting gently, and now drop. Oh, good. And a few steps backwards. Very good, and relax. Good, this feeling. So again, before we get going, we have also the rest moment. Drop the rein to the buckle. We're doing the same rest moment as what we had here in the middle of the arena. Oh, we get the breath. So we don't start the ride by going, by getting the energy up. Sometimes I have the young horses come and they've been started and they say, oh, I don't know how to slow him down. If we don't speed them up to start with, by going through one thing after another, okay, get on, get forward, forward, forward. The horse doesn't know ever how to find the rest because we didn't teach it. We only taught them to find speed. Good, and then you can open up a rein, go a little bit the other way. And it's also important from the beginning that the horse understands the feeling, the visual perspective of right and left. So it's not that we get on the left, so we feel safe on the left and we just stay on the left for the first month. because when I go to the right, he gets a little bit nervous. So we want to feel that that's the same, both sides. And the horse understands that in their balance. And so that if we start to travel, we make our first transition on the left, and the horse maybe loses balance for a stride and he looks a bit to the right, he knows the visual perspective on the right. So he's not getting worried. He knows the feeling of the shape of the body on the right. So he's familiar. He doesn't go to a place which creates uncertainty. This is very good. Yes, and then a little stop somewhere here where it feels good. So also feeling the conversation of where something is really going to work in the beginning. And relax, good. Yes, and backwards. Good. Good, and drop the rein. Yes. And then left front. Yes. So this is the thing of feeling where it's going to work. So here you have natural tendency. She was going left and you can say, oh, that was my idea. Let's make the smoothest step possible with the left front leg in that moment. So you can also take these opportunities to let her feel when it's best. Drawing to the camera. Very good. Yeah, and then you just pick up the rein, just like on the ground. We are creating shape to the left, and then we open the rein to give direction, sensation in the body, thought, and then the kiss noise, and then the transition trot. And we're looking that she follows the energy up, and when you bring the energy down, she's following the energy down. So it's not about how many steps. Yes. Yes, good. And then give rein. Good. Yeah, open left. Yeah, open left. Yes. And then turn left hind. Good. And then rub on the neck. Yes. So when the hind leg gets connection through the feet, she starts to point forward. Then it's the rubbing on the neck. Open again, energy up, kiss noise. Yes, and no niggling with the leg. Yeah. Again, then you change the language, you change the vocabulary. Yes, and then drop the rein. Good. Yeah, and now relax everything. Good, rub her up the neck. Yes. And then again, let her feel the leg. Open the rein. Yes, and rub her on the neck. Good. And then look in the direction you want to go. So now she felt the leg, not that you first gave the kiss noise and then you start to niggle with the leg. She feels the leg. You open the rein, open the body, give the kiss noise, and keep the leg there that she can follow the leg. And now rub and look where you want to go. If you want to go around a circle, you have to look to the next direction in the circle. Yes. Good. And now slow your rising down and let the energy go down through the feet. And loose rein. Yes. Like this. And now you've got the perfect shape that if you needed to, you could turn in your diagonal pairs a little bit more to get the down. So think of your groundwork. So when you're riding up there, sometimes it's good to think, what would I do if I was standing here? How would I communicate that? Would I pick up the rein? Would I, yes, make this shape? Yes, and then relax on the rein. Good. And then contact with the leg, like you do with the whip. No niggling, no bumping, no pony club kicking. Yes. Contact of the leg, open the rein, body language, kiss noise, and then allow it to go. Good. And look where you want to go. Energy up. Yeah. And now, if she's not following the leg, first, no niggling. Left leg. There. There. Good. And let her, and rub her on the neck. Good. So you're making a connection diagonal pair. She follows the leg, and then you let it out. Good. And forward again. Relax on the hand down. So not that she's following the rein too much here, because she has to look there to go there. Yes. Open. Good. Yeah. Find direction. Good. Yeah. And now go straight ahead. Follow the track. Yeah. Open. Good. And follow. Yes. And then rise like you want your belt buckle to go in the line you want to go. Yes. Go. Follow where you want to go. Good. And then start to feel where she is on the rein, both reins. Feel where she is, so she feels the connection. Look where you want to go. Yes. Look where you want to give. Give. Just give rein. And now look where you want to go. And rise there from here. You wear your belt buckle, energy goes in the direction of the rein. Yes. Now rise more towards your hands. Yes. Open, look, and the energy goes there. Good. Good. And push forward. Yes. This feeling. So not that you're pressing her, but your body is pushing there. Yes. And give. Hey. And again, have the feeling through the corner. You open, you look, and you press your body towards where you want to go. Yeah. And relax. Oh, good. Follow, 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 follow. And keep the feeling what's at the end of the rein. Don't pull back. Don't pull back. Give rein. Give rein. Yes. There. Give rein more. Good. And just push the hand. Feel your body also pushes in the direction. Yes. And now relax again. Energy down through the feet. Good. And long reins. And to the buckle. Good. Now we have thumping old-fashioned tractors out the front. But this is good because she starts to have an awareness there. Drop the rein. Buckle. Yes. So she starts to have an awareness there. Ears go up, eyes go up. But if your rein goes up, it's confirming that she has to worry about something there. So it might seem counterintuitive that you think, oh, in that moment I don't want to give. But on the ground, what would you do? Yeah. And so it's important, even though our body will sometimes say, oh, I have to, now I'm sitting up here, I better take care. But she doesn't know any different. She doesn't know a preconceived idea of what might happen or how she's going to respond. That's our imagination through previous memory and experience to when the thoroughbred threw you off. And long rein to the buckle? Yes, good. And also letting this happen. Don't do anything with your fingers. Don't do anything with the reins. Yeah, just sit. Because this is also the same as when you stood. Don't steer at the end. Yes. Let her find the line. Good. Just do nothing. Yes, good. Where at that moment, if you tried to steer her towards that end, she would feel pressure to go there. And then she starts to go away. And when you stood and did nothing in the middle of the arena to start, this is the same feeling you need to have now. Yeah. So a bump into the lens. Anna just had a heart attack. It's also not turning into something. So the rest you have here when you stand, when you've worked her on the circle and you stand, that's the same here. It's also okay. Just make sure she doesn't have a little roll in the corner. Good. So now your mind says, this is a weird spot. Yeah, you start to laugh because you're like the teacher sent you in the corner and you have the dunce hat on. So our experience tells, but that for her could be completely relaxing. I stand in the corner like I would in my stable, the other horses are on the other side of the wall. So that you allow the horse to feel that's also okay. So we have to find out what is our mind telling us, where is it telling us from, and what is it meaning really to the horse. And the more you can stay in tune with what is meaningful to her, the more relaxed the ride is. Yes, look at that corner. Hey, didn't even have to teach that one. So here, coming into the corner, make the turn in the corner, not cutting the corner, and then a straight line. It's good. Yeah, and then you go on a circle here. We try a little bit trot to the right. And the same thing, picking up the rein, giving direction. Think about your groundwork exercise. Creating shape. And just start to feel first where she is at the end of the rein. And a feeling is a stillness. Feeling isn't a movement. It's not a busyness. It's not a taking, a pulling. It's just being there. What do I feel? Do I feel the leather at the end of the rein? How that connects to the metal ring? Do I feel how the metal ring connects to the other piece? Where does that join? Which way is that facing in the mouth? And that you can be just there feeling. And then the horse starts to also have an intent and a focus on that feeling and the direction. Yeah, it's okay. Good. And that you then allow the horse, even at this early stage, to find the position that's comfortable, to find the balance, to find the rhythm and the way of moving that costs little to no energy. Yes, good. And not putting the head somewhere. Yeah, it's what we learn. They have to be in a frame, in a shape, in a position. That's why people get told off for putting their horses in the wrong position. It's not about where the horse is, it's how are they getting there. Good, opening the right rein, so more connection. So when you ask forward there and you get a little bit of this, it's lacking the direction there, yes. Yeah, make sure she feels the leg, then energy up, point with the little finger, yes. So that becomes effortless. When you give the feeling of the direction that way, She is feeling that. This is good. Just let her, if you feel like you slow your seat down, your energy goes down, she slows down, it's okay, yes. Just reward her. So she's understanding the direction of energy in your body. Good, and then you start to visually look yourself up, point your little finger, open the rein, body language. If you need a secret little whistle, a little kiss, yes. This is the transition. Good. Now she does it so relaxed that she needs to be told it's okay to keep going. Good. And then relax. Yes. On the circle, giving a little bit more direction. So the same direction you have in your transition to get into trot, you also have while you're in trot. Yes. And give. Good. So opening, look at the next direction. Good. Yes. And now just feel where she is and go straight ahead. Just feel where she is on the end of the rein so that she feels where she is on the end of the rein. And then rise in the direction you want to go. Good. Relaxed in the rising. Follow, follow, follow with the hand. Follow with the rising. Yes, let her go forward. Good. And give. Yes, that she can find the stretch by herself because she goes in the direction. Give rein, let her go forward, go on, go on, go on, go on, yeah. And not telling her literally to go, but following the direction. Lean forward, feel the connection. Yes, like this. Not holding her. She has to carry herself and she has to find direction into the rein herself and let her go forward, straight. Yes, yes. Yes, good. And then you change rein on the diagonal. And it's not that it has to be perfect all the time. She can't be perfectly in balance and have everything where it should be all of the time on the first couple of rides. But your intent is important. Yeah, relax, it's okay. Your intent is important. What are you thinking? How are you guiding her? How are you helping her to get into that position, to find balance, to find security, to become confident? And that you don't disturb the natural feeling that she can find herself. Often we try to do too much. We try to make something happen. That if we give them the right awareness of themselves, it's created on their own. Good. Yes. Yes, and then you have to find this internal energy. Open. Yes. Good, and give, relax. Oh, energy down. Look, because that's the first part. Your visual system doesn't look. You're looking down at her. Yes. Open, leg forward. Let her feel. Open the rein, look. Body language, voice. Yes. So that she has then direction in the transition. She doesn't lean backwards in that transition. Good. Yes, and then straight ahead. Same again, letting her follow the line we taught her from the ground. She has the navigational skill to be able to go. Good, and let her feel the rein on both sides so that you're feeling. Yes, good, and relax. Yes. Good, and loose, don't hold her. Hey, good. Remember what she did when you had on the buckle. She took you there. Yes, and give. Good, and then the circle. Look up, go around the circle, lean forward, go forward. Yes, good. Open, yes, good, like this. And then you do the same in the Canter transition. No. Just follow the same thing. So opening left. Remember what you do on the ground. Focus on that bit. You open left. You give the kiss noise. Good. And then you double cluck. Open left. Good. And relax. Hey, long reins. Oh, good girl. Yes. Now engage the rein again. Open. Look where you want to go. Good. And then, yeah. And get the timing. Yeah, good. Oh, and relax. Yes. So rewarding her for the preparation. And when you reward her for the preparation, she gets good at the preparation, the execution of what we want comes for free. Open left, kiss noise, double cluck. Oi, relax, oh, not pushing her, not making the canter from the left leg. Same as walk to trot, open. Yes, and allow it to happen. Open, look where you want to go. Good, open. Open, yes, and relax. Oh, give her a walk. Let her have long reins. Yes, long rein to the buckle. Good girl. Yes. So always when we think about making a transition up, where it's requiring a bit more energy, we may get a little bit more speed. We have to reward the following of the request. So if you open the rein, you give direction, you have kiss noise, and you're about to cluck, but she's already leaning forward, and she goes more forward, and she has direction, that's the bit you need to reward. Continue to reward that bit. If she leans forward and she goes one step, reward that. So that she starts to figure out, it seems very logical now that this would be the moment where I take the transition into canter, just like she's done on the ground. So if you're starting the canter in the saddle, it's important that your order of the way you ask is the same, and that you open the direction which you want to go. You give the aid. When she starts to lean forward and take the posture she needs to have a successful transition, we reward that bit. Same again, open. Yes, and the more you can open your body, the more you close. Yes. Yes. Good. Yes, and get going straight again. So you have a bit of direction. She's looking straight, going straight. Yeah, and forward. And forward. Good. Rising in the direction you want to go. Yes. This is better. This feeling. Don't do anything. Look where you want to go. Don't look at the camera in the corner. And she's looking at the camera in the corner. Good. This feeling. That's better, Holly. Good. Yeah, not too short on the rein. Very good. Open. She starts to look like a dressage horse. Open to the left. Look into the corner. Good. Kiss noise. Good. Yeah, and give rubber on the neck. Hey, good. And loose reins. Good. Look where you want to go. Good. And then think a little bit of the turn. Or relax. Good. Just let her walk. Hey, good. Yeah, turn left hind. Get her to follow left leg. No niggling, no bumping. Yes, following the leg aid. Same conversation. Good. So now you get just a little bit the same responses, everything from the left leg. So it's important that you keep it close, that she feels the leg, and she thinks about the direction in front. Not that she's thinking about this. Then she's looking back and thinking back. Let her walk a little bit, and then we'll see from your reward if she thinks, now I know what she wants. And if we adjust now, because now there's a little niggling there, you feel, oh, she's right on the edge. I can just give her a little niggle to go, and then that niggle causes a little reaction. And it's not that we teach her to be sharp from the leg, but she learns to follow her own body, follow the direction. If she follows that, she'll follow our leg aid, and then we'll never need to ride with a spur or to kick her or to do any of that. Open to the left, energy up. Yes. Good. Yes. And reward. Hey, good girl. Yeah. Visual, looking, opening. Your body language goes there. Yes. Yes. Good. Good. Hey, now you got a bit more trot. Just relax on the rein. Don't do anything. Just go with her. You have to say, I'm really enjoying this. This is a good feeling. Yeah. You have to tell her that by the way you rise. That you also go with her. You say, this is good. Yeah, so now opening left. visual system. Good. Give. Double cluck. Open. Good. Hey, and good. And give, and enjoy. Open left. Yes, and give. And give. Good. Like this. And relax. Very good. And go straight. It's okay, it's okay. Good. And now drop the rein again, the buckle. Let it look straight. Yes. Good. And so this, directly after the energy is up, that you can drop, and you feel like you need to push her forward now. But for her, this is the state you wished you had in the beginning. So now it's important that we stay focused on where we've come from and what kind of feeling we're trying to create in her body. Yes. Very good. This feeling. And that you know that when you add speed, a little excitement, you're also inside thinking, oh, I'm not too sure about this. And she's, of course, also going to feel that. But it's important to follow the process. In those moments, think about, what do I do on the ground? Think about rewarding the preparation for what you're about to ask. Because when you focus on the preparation, the horse gets more relaxed about offering it. You never have to put enough pressure that you're making it, the horse gets worried. This is her spot. And what's also important is that this is enough. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm riding and now I've done walk and trot both ways and now I've done canters, I have to canter now to the right. But the thing is, that is the thing you worked on now. So if you go and you work on something else, then you take away the importance of what you've achieved with this exercise. This exercise was preparation, leaning forwards. I think I can lean forward and relax. And then she finds her way into canter. And then when we stop, she knows, this is the thing. And then you come the next day, and then she offers that bit right away, and then you're going to work on being able to do that on the right. And so thinking about, what are we working on that day? Good, and then just open the right front, let her come to the middle here. And then also after that we don't think too much about doing much more. Not like, now she's not as soft as she was and I have to work on that. But you just have the feeling you get to stop. And the backwards, just like we did in the start, is as important. As little as possible. And relax. Good, and then softly again. How little, and give. Oh. So let the step back be a result of you giving rein. Lift, when you feel a lean, drop. Oi, that step. Yeah. And give. Good. Yes. And then drop the rein to the buckle. You're a little, she's comfortable enough to... Good. Like this. Yeah, and just rub her on the butt. Give her a little scratch, a good feeling. Yes, and then a little following of the direction to the left. Good. Yeah, and then you can go off. Very good. And then also taking a moment here. Yes, let her rest. And then rub her a bit, go a little bit near the head. And then just quietly have a sensation on the head, on the body. It's good. So this association to, we just went for a ride. Something you did together. And then this part is also really important. That she's like, yeah, actually this was kind of an enjoyable thing. That riding something nice, it's an interaction. You give something and I give something. She's particularly itchy, so this is very easy to give her something she likes. Scratching inside her ears. Good, good girl. Very good, alrighty. You can take her in. and then we'll continue in a day or two or whatever to do the next steps. Just make sure you do up your stirrups before you go through the corner. So guys, get ready, it's Q&A time. Hope you've been sending in those intelligent questions about how to start a young horse. It's about to happen now. Yeah. So guys, we're here, live Q&A with Faith.
Again.
Got some interesting questions, I hope.
Yeah,
fire
definitely.
away.
So, first one. When you talk about no specific age for starting a horse, is there an ideal deadline or a disadvantage to a late start?
No.
Next one.
So for me, it doesn't matter if the horse, like I said in the beginning, the important factor is the mental and physical maturity. And sometimes I start when they're not there, maybe just with the first part of the process. So the awareness of the body, teaching them a pattern and order of movement that will serve them. This is also what I do if I have the luxury of doing it when they're a couple of days old. So you're not just leaving them to chance and letting them find their balance with whatever kind of field they're in, but I really teach them this connection, this awareness of their body. And so if you have one that's not really physically that mature and not ready to carry themselves properly, so definitely not ready to carry you, of course you can continue to do little bits of groundwork which will help with the strength of the body and the ability to carry themselves and find a posture for carrying themselves, which will help in the development for when you actually sit on there to carry you. Of course, if you come, you know, I've had horses that were 5, some horses 6, 7, 8, Brumbies in Australia that were 10, 11.
Yeah.
The advantage is you have a stronger body, so they're already a little bit mature. They may have a pattern that's not particularly equipped for riding, so this is why the groundwork and the awareness of the body is important. So for me, it doesn't really matter the age. It's about being able to teach them what are the skills they need. I think often we think too much about getting on. Okay, it's time for starting them on the saddle. The goal is riding. Why aren't you riding him yet? He's a riding horse. We've got to ride him because he has to go to the stallion show or the 3-year-old young horse competition or whatever it is, without actually an awareness of how the horse is in the body. What is it that he actually needs in order to be strong enough to do the job in a way that he has longevity and a good life? So there is no deadline.
No.
There's just a line, and you have to follow the right one for that horse.
Okay. So this person has a 6-year-old mare who is very sensitive and has some traumas from the past. Would you ever use treats to reward her? And would you ever use food in training with horses or horses with trauma?
It's a good question. I particularly don't use a lot of treats because a lot of my work is to do with self-awareness. And when I'm having the horse to make a conscious connection with his body, or if I'm teaching him a certain position for him able to find balance, or I'm getting him confident to find a tool, I want him to be in connection with his body. So in the moment that he does the right thing, I don't want to be saying, oh, here. And he's like, I'm feeling that. Oh, cookie. And so for me, in that moment, in the way that I'm trying to bring them in connection with themselves, for me, it's a distraction. Of course, there's a lot of science behind also the sort of things that are created in the body from eating. Also, for me, I work very much on the breathing and the digestive system. So often I don't want that to be working on one thing when I want them to be thinking about the breathing. Reward for me with treats can sometimes be good in buying time.
Okay.
So if I'm in a moment where a horse is like rushing through something, rushing off a trailer, rushing through a space, or I need him just to think for one moment to find balance. Oh, there's something there. It might be enough for him to feel, oh, I am standing here in this position. Oh, it is all right. And so most of the time, the treats for me is about in that moment, but also it can sometimes help if you have a horse that's really shut down or is not wanting to interact, make a connection through a bad experience, that you can offer something that is not a bribe, but that is pleasant, and that is something to do with a survival skill. I'm offering you something that is, you feel you naturally want, whether you know it or not. And so that can sometimes bring out the want and the motivation to connect. But for me, a stronger connection is to feel themselves, to give them some value in having an awareness of themselves, and not that it becomes a bribe and then the focus is on that, and then at some point it doesn't have much meaning anymore, or that becomes only the meaning.
Yeah.
So I don't say that it's something you should never do, but for me it has a specific place.
Yeah.
And if you're able to get the horses to really focus on themselves and not doing something in order to get something from outside of their body, then for me it's more powerful in the end. It's something and a skill they can learn and use even when I'm not there.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they're only feeling good when I'm there, giving them something, and that's not there, I don't know if he's able to have an awareness of his body and make himself feel comfortable when he's in the stable, when he's in the field and some birds fly up. You know, there's no one there to sort of say, oh, don't be scared, come this way, this was good, here's the treat.
Yeah.
So for me, it's sort of, he's missing some things.
Yeah, they need the internal
Yes.
reward. Yeah. Okay. You send them back and across when you are ending the steps, I think with the clock shape. What is/are the signals that you get from the horse to stop this? Or after how many steps do you stop?
So I'm looking for the horse to be able to find the stability in the ground with the leg that goes back. Now, of course, Roxy is a horse that's really forward and up in energy. So she wants to go here. Mm. So this is turning this energy around and giving her stability that she can come this way. If it was a horse that was like this, of course I wouldn't be doing that. I would be letting the stability be found by going forward. The amount of steps is dependent on how much the horse is able to do without me having much contact. Mm-hmm. So I try to get hands free so that they start to be able to feel this is a position and a transition of energy in the body they can do themselves. But for a horse like Roxy that quickly gets into, oh, I know that, losing balance, I want her to feel that she stays with the rein. Yeah. So for her, it's about feeling that she can transfer the energy from there back through the body. I already relaxed there. I see if she starts to follow. If she leaves the rein, I keep a connection and stay with the connection. When I feel that she starts to follow the rein and follow her body and she starts to get grounded, then I give the release. And so, of course, there's steps in that. When does she transition the energy? When does she start to feel she's going there by herself? When does she feel like she's staying connected to the rein? So I'm rewarding at all those moments. That might come in 1 step the first time, 2 steps, 4 steps. You might connect those things, so you do 2 and then 3 steps and then 1 step. Yeah. So there's no amount of steps, but it's feeling how that horse is and what is it that's going to allow them to feel grounded and relaxed. A horse that is very much grounded and relaxed, you're not going to get 1 step and say, oh, that was good.
No, exactly.
Because he's going to get more. That might need a, come on, you have to go, oh, there, that was the step. Yeah. And then relax. So it's what is it in your horse's body that you want him to feel that's going to give him a positive experience and the sensation of moving in a way that's useful to him. And for Roxy, she's hypermobile. You know, you saw at the end, Holly's sitting on and she just like turns herself inside out to scratch the leg. So it's very important for her that she stays more with the contact. She has the ability to do this in the first step, which is going to get her like, oh, hang on, I'm losing balance. I don't feel where my body is anymore.
Yeah.
So for her, it's important to be able to make the smaller steps and feel when she makes more of a connection with stability, then I give the reward. This is the main focus.
Okay. And then final question, I think. It's a bit similar to the first one, but is there an ideal point of development a horse should have prior to starting this in-hand work prior to riding? Some might equate it to age, but that's not the best indicator.
Yeah, no, for me, of course, what we actually did tonight is not sort of the level everybody should aspire to do. Some can go further, and some have to start lower. So it's depending on where your horse is at. But the groundwork for me is useful in, like I said, a horse that's a few days old, a horse that's hasn't seen people and is 9 or 10 years old and is like got a posture for running in nature and needs to find a posture for carrying himself, something he can receive from us that he cannot receive in nature. And it's of course a horse that needs rehabilitation or help or recovery from a traumatic start, from a poor beginning, from having a fear state, you know, from not understanding the situation that he's being put in, have to rely on the survival, and then the body is in a state of panic all the time. It's not serving him. It's going to be reacting and doing all the wrong things at all the wrong moments. Horses that have injury, they've been in a bad pattern, they're carrying themselves in the wrong way, part of their body gives up. There's not a smooth symmetry in the body, which causes a disruption, which is why we get problems. So the groundwork for me is finding out how the horse is in the body. First, give them a connection to themselves so they have an awareness of what their body's doing, so they're not doing silly things. It's not just about starting to do groundwork.
Yeah.
I'm going to move him behind and across. It's like, hang on a minute, he can, you know, he's totally stiff on the left side. So if you move him behind and across, he's going to be bracing, and that step's going to make things worse, not better. So it's allowing the horse to feel how they are in the body, having an awareness, and then starting to find where the compass is and allow them to find a way of movement that is healthy and within their limits. And so sometimes that's difficult to measure for a horse that starts off in a weak place and we start to get going and we think, oh, we don't want to, you know, anything, we don't want him to show some expression or some energy or jump around. So we keep everything, you know, quiet, and so sometimes it's difficult to know how much that horse is able to do. But I govern that with the steps of my groundwork patterns. If he's able to be very handy in positioning his feet in the right way, there's no delay in our communication when I ask him to step in diagonal pair connection or open the front leg, then I know the body is connected enough to start to move with impulsion. And then you're just measuring that by going through the steps, finding out what he's good at, what he's not good at, helping him in areas which he's not good at, develop the body to be strong and useful to himself, and then the process grows on its own.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, some good questions. Thank you, Faith.
Of course.
So guys, this was it, another live stream. I hope you learned something new and exciting. I hope you have some new skills to take to your horse tomorrow in the stable. So until next time, be good to your horse.